That's
official
great.
now.
That's what I was just thinking of.
fun.
WK.
Oh, look at that, so pretty.
Oh, we're being taped?
Perfect. All right. So I will call this meeting to order. So just wanted to check that, have a staff confirmation that the Kansas Open Meetings Act has, notice has been properly provided?
Yes, it has.
Perfect. Great. And with that, we'll move on to roll call.
Okay, Commissioner Canales, Commissioner Godsey,
Present.
Commissioner Grinter,
Present.
Commissioner Rivers,
Present.
Commissioner Ronning, Commissioner Africa,
Here.
Commissioner Kuschel.
Present.
Great. With that, move on to approval of minutes for the meeting on Tuesday, August 9th, 2022.
I move to approve the minutes.
I second.
Great. So motion seconded, so that passes. Oh, I'm sorry. Do we have to vote on that?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay. All right. Could we get a, do you do a roll call vote or do you just?
Usually
in
it's
favor?
just all in favor say aye and all opposed same sign. It's
Gotcha.
generally, unless someone calls for a roll call vote.
Perfect. Okay, great. So all in favor of approving the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Perfect. And same sign for those that disagree? Disapprove? Perfect. All right, moving on to new business. Seeing none, we'll move to public hearing items. Looks like no public are in the waiting area, so we will move on to administrative items.
Hello, I think with that, what we decided with so many new faces is we'd just do a round of introductions to let people know, and starting with the staff that are present today, and then the new members, and then those that have been on the board for a while, maybe to just so everyone kind of knows names. And I'll go first. I'm Michelle Martin. I'm the Community Relations Supervisor, and I'm the board liaison for this commission.
My name is Marissa Patton. I am a Community Relations Specialist, and I will be taking minutes and kind of making sure everything behind the scenes is running smoothly on this side.
She's the board clerk. And sometimes we have Spencer in here as the other specialist. He is not here with us right now, but he assists when he's available.
Perfect. All right, and I guess,
And then we'll start to my left, maybe, just kind of go down the row.
Geary Africa.
Okay. And new board member.
New board.
Yeah.
First meeting.
Glenn
Welcome.
Godsey.
I can't see. My name is Chris Grinter.
Sherry Kuschel, also new member. And Hannah Rivers.
Thank you. Thank you all for coming and joining us. So,
Perfect. We'll move on to election of officers for 22-23.
and you should have all received in your packet a kind of a helpful staff report to kind of let people know who's available to be elected as an officer. You do have to be on the commission at least one term, not one full term, but 1 year before you're eligible for elections. And there's a rule, you can't serve twice in the same capacity. So that's why we kind of let people know who's available in that staff report. I don't know if there's any questions or anyone wants to take nominations from the floor, or, anyone wants to volunteer.
If you'd like to, nominate anybody, go ahead and do so.
I move to nominate Chris for chair.
Great.
Okay.
I was seeing your name in there.
Okay.
Perfect. I would accept.
So I don't know if we want to vote or get two nominations and take a up-down vote on both, however the chair wishes to proceed. It's up to you if you want to, do you want to do it?
Sorry, is it either or?
It's either or.
Okay.
You can either do a slate or you can do individual elections. We only have the two positions in this. We don't have finance officer, and we serve the role so we don't have a secretary. We serve that role, so it is up to the chair's deference.
Oh, gosh, oh, really?
The acting chair, I guess I should say right
There
now.
we go.
The acting
Yeah.
chair's deference.
Yeah. Let's do a roll call vote.
Okay.
Oh, sorry.
So, Marissa, can you help with that?
Yeah. Commissioner Godsey,
Aye.
Commissioner Grinter,
Oh, do I abstain?
You can vote for yourself. I think it's allowed in the presidential election. We'll allow voting for yourself in this election. I don't know of any rules against it.
Great, yes, yeah, aye.
Commissioner Rivers,
Aye.
Commissioner Africa,
Aye.
Commissioner Kuschel.
Aye.
So it unanimously passes.
Well, great.
You're
Thank
it.
you,
So now
everybody.
can-
All right, so with that, we'll move to nominations for vice chair.
Or volunteers.
Yeah, or volunteers. Yeah,
I'll vice chair for.
great.
Okay.
And I would second that. I mean, do you have to do the same thing if you?
Yeah, I would
Okay,
conduct
gotcha.
it the same
Okay,
way.
So we'll do a roll call vote then.
Okay.
Okay. Commissioner Godsey,
Aye.
Commissioner Grinter,
Aye.
Commissioner Rivers,
Aye.
Commissioner Africa,
Aye.
Commissioner Kuschel.
Aye.
Perfect. All right. Well, congratulations.
Look at us moving.
I know.
Wow.
Thank you. And thank you both for agreeing to do that, and everyone. We appreciate it.
It'd be fun. All right, so next is docket review.
All right. I guess that's me to update everyone. And for the new members, I'll go into a little bit more. Normally, what we do is this is all confidential, and the case names aren't revealed until and unless you're selected as a commissioner to hear it, if it goes to a hearing before the commission. And we'll go into that in the training and that follows this meeting for that. In a little more detail. But for this purposes of the public meeting, what we do provide is a report generally, and we won't spend, unless anyone has questions, our intent is not to spend a lot of time on it, but provide some transparency on what is available and what's been going on. So we won't use case names, and sometimes I forget what the numbers are. I have to ask Marissa too to verify a little bit on those. But at the time we write the report, this is the status of what's open and where things are in each of the three categories. So starting with employment, we had no employment cases. We don't have any employment cases pending right now. And we also do this on a fiscal year that follows when we open and close things with HUD for purposes of counting our FAP and our FAP agreement. So we don't run on a calendar year with this. It starts over July 1, correct, Marissa?
Yeah.
July 1 is when it starts over. So that's why you'll also see at the top 2022/2023. Okay, so in anything like that, we use the two dates, and that's always then what people usually call the fiscal year, July 1 through June 30th of the next year. So with that, there haven't been any cases in employment that we have pending since that time period. For housing, where we have 4 different areas that we put on here. We have the closed cases. We were able to close out 2 cases, and she'll provide the status of those. So NPC means no probable cause. It went to a commission of 3 commissioners that heard that, and then we'll go more into that in the training. But the NPC means there's no probable cause, so it was closed on no probable cause. 1 was conciliated, which means we reached an agreement before it went to a commission hearing, or commissioners before it went before the commissioners. So there was 1 that we closed that way. The open cases are the ones that are pending right now and working, and we'll go into that a little bit more. So we have 2 that are being worked currently at the time this report was written. I always preface that because things can change, and we don't always go back in and change it at the last minute. We do what we've published. So awaiting court hearing, we have 1 that, and that one of those, the H31-1920, we just got the court order on. There was a judgment in favor of the CP, and we can that'll move up to close next time because we've got the court order. We can't close it till we have a final written order. And then the H29-1920, we've had the hearing. We are just waiting for the court order and the final decision. And then we have an inquiry down there, and that one has moved into, we had filed it. It will move up to open next time, except it's a unique situation that the Department of Justice is staying us because they want to take a look at it. There are certain cases when we file them with HUD that the Department of Justice, if they have special interests in it, depending on the topic, they have asked us to wait on that while they're looking at it. So that is where we are in housing, which will be the majority of our cases. The majority of our cases come in housing, and that's what we have the contract with HUD as a FAP, which is a Fair Housing Assistance Provider. It's an agreement with HUD to do their investigations in our territory. And so there are only 2 in the state of Kansas, and we are one. Our city is one, and Lawrence is the other one. And you have to do certain things and go through it and meet certain standards. And it's not an easy process, but once you do it, that's what we do. So we have that agreement, and majority of our cases you will find will be under housing. Then the last one is public accommodation. And that one, we had one inquiry, and we've actually had a flurry of things that have been going on. You'll probably see a little more on that one next time. I don't know what status, but we've had several calls and things that we're kind of working on. You will find most of our public accommodations, we've historically throughout have been able to kind of work those out so they don't go into the complaint, actual filing of a complaint. Usually when we reach out to different businesses, they accommodate, and so we try and work with them and not file a complaint in that area if we can. If not, we will do what we have to do, but we do try to give that opportunity to work with individuals. And so it seems like we kind of had a rush of them lately, so I expect that'll be a little different, and most of them may be under inquiries. I suspect we might have one that goes to open, but we shall see. So that's an update, a little bit longer than I will sometimes do. If anyone has any questions, but for the benefit of the new people, I wanted to give more in depth there. Any questions? Sure.
So when people file a complaint, usually like for housing, are they mainly saying, do I qualify, or what kind of complaints are these?
Yes, that's a very good question that we'll go into more detail on in our training after this, in our study session. But what happens, the process is they file what we call an intake first, and we evaluate that, and there are certain criteria whether it moves into a complaint. And then once a complaint is official, we do file that, and then we investigate. And then we present it to the HRC, this body. 3 individuals are randomly selected, and we present it. It's all done electronically. We don't do like oral arguments or presentations, but then those individuals take the file that we present to them of the investigation and make the determination on whether there's probable cause to proceed on. And at that stage, then if the commission finds probable cause, then we move forward into what we call a hearing mode, and it can be an administrative hearing or judicial hearing. And then at that point, that's the final decision, but of whether it goes on. But this body serves to give that, is there probable cause to move forward? And during all of this, we are trying very hard to conciliate, which is reaching an agreement between the parties. And we are actually a third party to that conciliation, so we have to approve the final agreement. We're actually a party to that agreement. So if the agreement is broken, we have the ability to go ahead and enforce it also, just like if the complainant or the person filing the complaint felt like it was broken, or the respondent, which is not usually the case, it's usually the complainant or us. We are all parties to that agreement, so we can all enforce it if it's not followed through. But so that's why sometimes the cases don't go all the way through to you, because all along that is our main goal, is to get things fixed and get things going right. And if the parties can agree to different things, that's the ultimate. And that's what HUD as a FAP, as our agreement with HUD really encourages. They prefer conciliation. So we work hard to do that. And that can happen at any stage. It can happen after we have a determination from you, and it can happen before. So I hope that answers your question. So, and we'll do a little bit more of that in the training, which you guys are lucky because you're the one commission that we have of our 2 commissions that gets 2 nights of training, because we have so much to cover to try and help you get to the ability that you can hear those cases and make, feel like you have a basic understanding of those types of complaints, and, trying to help educate you on that. So I hope that answers. That was kind of long-winded, but
It's a good answer.
okay. Okay.
Great. Any other questions? No? Seeing none, there are no preliminary discussion items or unfinished or other business. We'll move on to the public forum.
I would just say that would have one announcement that I did not add on here too, when we get to the end.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so,
Okay. Seeing nobody from the public in the waiting area, we'll move on to adjournment. Do I need to mention all the different dates on here?
no, I don't think we need to verbally read them, but we did include those as part of the record, just because I like to plan ahead and some other people might like to get those on their calendar as soon as possible. Being the first meeting, we tried to put them all on there so you can get them on your calendars and try and plan ahead.
Great. Awesome. Thank you for putting that together.
And my one announcement is pretty simple. It's just that we do have a tentative date for the Fair Housing Seminar. For those of you who are new, we do one seminar a year for fair housing to try and educate the public and provide, and it's an all-day training, and we have a tentative date. It's pretty set. It's April 28th. April is Fair Housing Month, so that's Fair Housing Awareness Month, and so we try and do it in April, and that's the last Friday.
What time of the day?
We open the doors typically at 8, and then it starts 8:30 or 9, depending on how many sessions, and then it goes throughout the day. We're done by 5.
But if you're working part-time during that day, is there a way to?
You can always, especially commission, we encourage anyone on the commission to stop by and participate when you can.
All right.
I know, I'm trying to remember who was there part of last time. I know John Burchill, our former chair who moved away, he was there part of the day, and it seems like, someone from our other commission, the AAB, came the other part of the day too.
April 28th?
The last Friday in April.
Great.
So I wanted to get that on your calendar as soon as possible too with the dates.
Yeah, it's always a good program, very informative. So, yeah. All right. Well, with that, do I need to make a motion for adjournment? Perfect. We'll make a motion for adjournment.
I so move.
In a second.
Second.
All right. Seconded. All right. We are adjourned.
Okay, thank you.